Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to be here today. Um, uh, excuse me. I'm doing well this morning. I hope you all are doing well. And I'm JaLisiah. I'm 18 from Alabama. Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
I want to tell you a story about my classmate, Jamie. He was shot and killed August 23rd, 2019, but it wasn't in the way you think. Jamie's friend, Jacob, had a gun in the waistband of his pants. The gun went off in the back seat of a two-door car at a gas station. The bullet went through the seat and into the Jamie's lower back. Hearing the news of this arose many questions in my head. Questions such as, why did Jacob feel the need to have a gun? And how could this even happen? Jamie was only 14 and in the 9th grade. Freshman year had just started 11 days ago. I remember that day in school, in first period, the sun had that classic beautiful yellow cast. Jamie was his usual self, smiling and bouncing around the classroom, going from desk to desk. I had no idea what the next couple of hours would hold. Little did me and my classmates know this would start altercations within the school. This moment would seem to be the start of a string of shootings in the community. Small issues like friend group against friend group that started in school could have ended in school, but it boiled over into something way, way worse. That's why I want to address the lack of concern with boys going down the wrong path in my community. I feel like there's very little opportunity for them, so they do eventually turn to substances and the wrong friends to sort of heal them and distract them. There isn't enough encouragement to do good for themselves. Administrators see these boys struggling in school, crying for help, and all they do is say, he's a bad kid, or he doesn't have home training. Teachers, staff, and counselors get upset when they see these young adult boys growing irritable with them yelling and labeling them as quick to anger or having anger issues. These young men want to be comforted, not yelled at, and their parents call for them acting out. They want you to pay attention to them and help them. These young boys think just because they have a low GPA and teachers have taken their hands off them essentially, that means they have no chance to get out their community. There should be more low GPA accommodations and opportunities for them, because students don't always have the privilege to only focus on school. Whether they're working or taking care of younger siblings so their parents can work, we don't always have time to only focus on those 40-hour work weeks we like to call school. So while you may try to offer help, they may say they don't want it, but they need it. Now allow me to take you to 2014 when my brother got caught up with the wrong kids. They jumped him. My brother Isaiah thought he could trust them, but apparently he couldn't. I remember so vividly the shoe prints on my brother's white t-shirt and the I remember so vividly the shoe prints on my brother's white t-shirt, his bloody nose, and the exhausted, disappointed look on his face. Afterwards, my brother started to play basketball and focus on his studies. Isaiah was able to make that decision with good advice in his life, his family. But for most boys in my community, they don't always have, but for most boys in my community, they don't have anyone to advise them. It may be because they have a single mom who can only focus on bills, or maybe because they just don't talk to their families about their friendships. Either way, kids are at school more than they are at home, unfortunately. So teachers and administrators should pay attention to these young men, which is why I'm in touch with my counselor and cheer coach. I'll be working with both of them to get student tutors and get more boys into sports. By getting student tutors, students can raise their grades while simultaneously making friends. Students are more comfortable with each other, which makes them more likely to ask questions. They won't be afraid of the question, why didn't you pay attention in class? I am in touch with my cheer coach, and she is in touch with the football coach. I can draw, so I plan to draw eye-catching posters for football trials. I was once a student walking those halls, so I know an interesting poster makes you more susceptible to reading it, which will up the chances of you getting into what you just read. Although, like I mentioned earlier, these boys do use substances. In order to play a sport in my school, you should not use them. I suggest that the coaches let them fall in love with the sport and then tell them they can't ingest substances later. So that way they won't hear no substance use and automatically not join the team. These plans will give my brothers in the community a sort of anchor to hold on to, or an anchor to get away from the community. Whether it's getting higher education or joining the NFL, my brothers will succeed. Thank you.